Hi, Tefl-Dude here, and as you can see before you, I have successfully removed my screen without cracking it from the Surface Pro 5. Now I am going to show you how I did that in the next part of the video, how it was done. But before you attempt to do it, I want you to know the kind of tools I used, and if you do it with these tools, you will be successful. So here goes. Now, I did purchase this iFixit kit. However, this thing, this whatever it is, heat thing, is a total waste of time. Don't even bother. I put it on once. It didn't even really get warm. They say you may have to do it a number of times, but I did use some of these tools. So I'm just going to show you which of the tools I did use. Now, these cards and these picks are invaluable. I'll just show you here on the big screen. These picks, because they actually can absorb the heat quite well as you're heating it and going round. Do not use your own guitar picks as I did, because that's what happens. It just kind of, as you can see here, it's just melted the hell out of it. So don't do that. Use these picks that comes with the packet and this iFixit card. The other tools I used from them were this spudger tool in order to flick off the parts which are connected, and this tool, which is a pincher tool, and you need it in order to get these metal plates off, because you have to kind of dig from the bottom and flick them out. So that's the only thing I use from the iFixit toolkit. You will need to purchase yourself this I think it's a T4 screwdriver. You can see it even says there T4, and that helps you to get off those screws there. One more thing you'll need is, and you'll see me using it throughout the video, is this sucker pad. I think it's for a motor car to stick your phone onto the windscreen, because it's got two sucker pads. The sucker pads they give you, they don't stick to the glass. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But this one, let me just show you what happens. Here's the tin. I'll just show you like that. And you simply put it on the tin and then twist it to the right. Now it's stuck. Look at that. I cannot shake it off. And that helped me to pull up the screen safely. And then twist it to the left. And then it unhooks and you can move it around the screen. This is invaluable. You do need these tools. If you use these tools, you will have success, my friend. I did also use some of these playing cards, you'll see, just to stick under where the glue is. The glue does reheat, or reset rather, so be careful of that. This is probably the most important tool you'll ever buy, and instead of a heat gun that can heat to 300 degrees, you want something like this where you can put it on the fan on 6, the heat on 350. And what happens is you heat the plate first, heat the whole of the screen first, and then you'll notice that every now and then when I become stuck, I use this and the number gauge goes up from 100 to 350. Once it gets to 350, I put it back. It doesn't stay at 350, it just gets to 350. I put it back and then I'm able to glide it more. Then when I get stuck, I put it back and it goes from 100 to 350. As soon as it gets to 350, I put it back, and that's enough time. And that's how I gauged the time. And it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Now, one thing I want to show you is the beginning part. Now, they always ask you to start on the right-hand side. And as you can see, on the right-hand side, there's this kind of glassy area. I'll just put this paper over here. You can see this glassy area here. And I was very nervous at this. This is the first part. So my advice to you is get your tool underneath. Get it inside. Remember, you can go quite deep. I'll show you in a minute. You can go 7 millimeters deep here. And then what I did is I made the pick come underneath the glass. So I didn't scratch across. I didn't try to go across because I thought I might crack that. So I just did it so it was underneath and it lifted. Once it was lifted, I was able to move around And like I said before, you can see here the measurement on my card, 7 millimeters. Look at that, you can go 7 millimeters deep. So all around the edge, at this beginning edge, you can go 7 millimeters. When you get to the bottom edge, I do believe you can only go like 4 millimeters. So there you go, 4 millimeters around the bottom edge. And when you come to this third edge, you can only go maybe 3 millimeters or still 4. Now, the top part is the most deadly because, all I mean by that is don't get nervous. Some people say, oh, you're going to damage the antenna here. Here you've got this antenna thing here, and you can damage this part. But notice how much glue they put there. Look at that glue. It's awful, so much, and it's so thick. It's like tar. I'm going to have to scrape that off and put on fresh glue when I put this back. Whereas the other glue around the edge, I can still use it. I'm going to reheat it and use it back. So I don't have to worry about that. So that's a little bit of warning before you get started about not to be nervous. And you can see here's the antennae that you're not meant to damage. If you do, you can always buy another one, but you're not supposed to damage. And I'm going to clean that up and put fresh glue there. And that's all you need to know about taking off this. You will need to buy other things later. For instance, you need to buy some thermal paste here in order to put that back, clean that and put some fresh thermal paste on it. And I'll be doing that in the video. But if all you want to do is simply remove the screen and put a new screen on, then this video is enough for you so far. Watch the next hour segment or half-hour segment, and it'll show you me taking it off successfully as a first-time trier. So now here's the video of me removing the device. Now I did try to use that heat pad, but I gave up on it after one try, and now you can see I'm heating it with a heat gun because you have to heat the whole screen. At least make it warm to the touch. As you can see here, I'm touching it. And then later I will just focus on the edges, but the whole screen to be warm is important so you don't crack it. Now I've sped up the next 20 minutes into 10 seconds because I was focused in making sure it was hot enough for the pick to slide underneath, as you can see in the top left corner. I just want to show you what I've done so far, and so far it's been quite a while, but I've got underneath it, but very, very slowly, and I've had to use 350 degrees. I really don't want to destroy the corner when I'm so close, because if you can melt that glue, then that's the business. And I do touch it, it's hot to the touch. It is at 350 all the time, so now I'm going to try and raise it a bit. Oh, wow, that corner, that is heaven. The fact that I've managed to do the corner. This next part I've just sped up in order to, save you the trouble of wasting time watching me do this. All I'm doing is, you might notice the machine, when I put it back in the holster, it goes back down to about 200, and I take it out and I heat the thing until it goes up to 350, and then I put it back in its holster, and that's enough for me to slide the thing down. Go here. So I've heard that here is where the antenna is, so you do need to make sure that you're getting the glue from the top. Like you're separating the screen from the glue, and you're not becoming between the glue and the antenna, which is down there. So let's see if I can slide. Oh, that is so nice! That was so nice. Such a good feeling. What a feeling. Da-da, da-da-da. Oh, I'm sliding still. Slip sliding away. Slip sliding away. You know you're near your destination the more you slip sliding away. Do. Some more heat. And I'm gonna put this about here so I can lift that up. Once again, feel the heat, ready or not, Scooby-Doo-Doo. Some like it hot, some don't when the heat is on, Scooby-Doo-Doo-Doo. Right, 350, back again. And it just slides. So, finally, I found the secret that no one else has been telling you. That it's, with this machine, let it go down to 250, and then as you see it climb to 250, then you simply put it back in its holster. I'll move it clear so maybe you can see. Put it back in its holster and then slide. Wow, that is so nice. Where's my cards? So once again, I've sped up the process in order to make the video shorter, but I'm just continuing to do this, heating up a small part of it until it reaches 350 and then putting the gun back in the holster, as it were. And now you can see I need to get out the tabs that are attached to the motherboard. So now I'm just looking for these two tabs on the motherboard, and as I lift up the screen I have two cables attached to them, and I just use a spudger to take the cables out. There will be some black metal covering them, so you also have to remove that first, but leave the cables attached to the screen. Don't disconnect them from the screen, that's more work than you need to do. So, managed to take this off. These things are a bit tricky. What you have to do is, you kind of have to, let me show you here. You kind of have to click under here, there's some graters. You can use a metal tool, it doesn't matter, and here, they're just teeth. You can get rid of those. So that goes back in when it's finished. Now I've already removed these 8 heatsink screws with a T4 screwdriver, but on the i7 version there are an additional 3 screws by the fan which you need to remove with a crosshair screwdriver. Now we have to remove these 4 heatsink plates, but not the small plate in the top right corner, because there is no screw underneath it that we need to get at in order to remove the motherboard. Now I'm just going to play you these 15 seconds in order that you can see how difficult it is to remove some of these black heatsink plates. Remove these parts here. So, have I removed all the boards? Yes. And now in order to remove the antenna or the Wi-Fi tab, we have to undo these 4 screws and release that little tab. There we go. It's just that little thing there. It's not so delicate. Let me just show you here. So don't be too worried. It's not that well stuck in. It's just a little delicate, but not too much. I'll show you what it looks like when I remove it. There you go. So you can see it goes into this tiny socket about, let's go here. It goes into this tiny socket here, so it's not too delicate. Remember to plug it back in when you do. Okay, so now I'm going to take out 9 tabs, but be careful though, because this little tab here has a little white clip. These two here have little white clips. The rest of them just pop out. This one, you have to kind of lift up the tab. You see that? I lifted up the tab. Not this one. That, I don't think that needs removing. It was this one and this one that you have to make sure you clip up. Whereas this one can just be, I think it just pops out, this one here. There we go. It's a little scary because you kind of hear that click, but don't worry, everything is built to last, I guess, in this machine. So I'm just going to do the other tabs now, which are quite easy. That's these ones here. So you've got this one as well, this tab here. Comes up quite easily, I believe. There you go. See, they just pop out like that. Quite simple. And this one has 2 underneath it. So you can see here, and there's another one. That's for one camera. That's for another one. There's another one there you can't see. I'll try and angle it so you can see here underneath. There's 2 more. And you just use the spudger to get it out. You see, there they are. So that's, he said 9, so there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, we've got to take those 2 out. Remember, we lifted it up, but we still have to pull them out, you know. Maybe with tweezers, or with my fingers. There we go. And the same with this one. Maybe like this. There we go. See, it's pulled out like that one as well. And remember, leave those little lids open for when we put them back. Next, 2 more. There's just one again. It's a music tab. Oh, that was probably what the other one was as well. Is this this music one here. And that again, it just flicks out. Don't get nervous. So I'm just doing that now. There we go. Flicked out. It is quite scary when you're doing this, isn't it? But, and then there's just one more, which is this big tab at the bottom, which is easy peasy. These spudger tools, there you go. With that all unhooked, I now have to remove the speaker with 2 screws. So let's get rid of that. See, that's why when you're taking this screen off and you're entering through this way, you're not really going to do any damage. Don't worry about digging in here. You're not going to ruin the speaker grill. There's nothing there to ruin. Sorry, can't see. So remember, when you're digging in from the side to begin, I was very scared that I might damage the speaker grill or something, but you can't. There's nothing to damage. So, you know, be brave when you begin taking this thing apart. So finally, I just need to remove 8 screws in order to remove the logic board and unclip this metal thing here. So let's remove the screws first. Now, if you have the Surface Pro 5 i7 version, you will have this fan which needs removing from the motherboard in order to remove the motherboard. So please remember to unscrew the screws 1, 2 and 3 and remove the tab which I've marked in yellow, and also remove the left speaker. So now, normally an S5 board without this S7 fan heater would look like this, but we do have the fan extra. So now the motherboard, I do believe, should come freely out. So let's see if we can move this. There is one more thing I have to do, is lift this lid off here. Let me just show you that area. Here, I can move it. Yeah, there's this lid area here that I have to move off as well. So let's see if I can move that up. Oh, it must come out somehow. Okay, so as you can see, it just flicked out. I managed to flick it out. You kind of push it out together, a little bit, little by little, seesaw it out, and that comes off. I put the 2 screws back in because I don't need to take that off. And I should, if there are no more screws I have to deal with, I should be able to take this board off. There we go. There we go. Delicate with the clips. And so it's tied with the USB. And there is our freed motherboard. And we now have to get the battery off. Okay, so let's zoom out for that. And the way to do it is I'm going to need my heat gun again. And I'm going to have to obviously heat the back of this battery and then prise it out. Okay, now I was explaining that to remove the battery, I'm going to have to heat the back side. I've got the heating going on. I'm going to have to heat the back, but I'm also going to have to heat the middle bit here. And I'm going to do that elsewhere later, but for now I'll just show you how it works. I've got this set for 300, and you notice if I turn it up, it thinks it wants to go off. So I have to point it downwards, and I have to heat this battery as much as I can. I'm going to go to about 300, but I can really go mad on this because remember, this is metal. It's not a glass, so it's not going to break or anything. And I do have to do the bottom bit where the little nodule is. So what I mean by that is there's a place here, you see, where I have to heat this to get this glue released. I'm probably going to have to do it from the other side. I'm heating this battery a bit here, but mainly everything should be done from the back. Because that thing needs lifting, and I'm not sure how. Oh, there we go. I've got a bit lifted here. There we go. It's lifting. We can be lifted. Wee-hee! Yeah, you can be. And that's it. So what I think, this other company was doing, what I think they were doing is they were somehow, I don't know how they got that to be loose, and they just slide it out and slide it in without removing the motherboard. But obviously this is my first time, so I'm going to have to be removing the motherboard. Now I'm going to do this somewhere else, and I'll come back when that's done. Hi, I just want to quickly show you where I'm at now. So I'm hacking away at the battery, and I do believe if you have one of these, which is like, what is it? Used in the, it's made of plastic though, hard plastic, and I'm using it as a spudger tool to get the battery off. And I'm almost there, I'm nearly there. Sparks came out of here, so I was a bit scared because I think I bent the battery. So don't do that. But I should be back in a minute and show you it all cleaned off. So as you can see, I've managed to get the base off, the battery off. Some sparks came out here because I kind of bent it in half. Don't do that, whatever you do. So let's have a look at putting the new battery in. Woo-hoo! Now, feel that base. That base is still so tacky. It's crazy, scary tacky. So now this is the best bit, putting the battery in. But make sure everything's okay. Here's our new battery, fresh out of the packet. Now, there is no sticky stuff on it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think I need to put any on because this thing is still tacky as anything. And all I have to do is remove, I do have some glue here, but if you don't, you should put some on yourself. And we just simply put this in the right spot. So let's do that. And if you've not got a clue, there's a big hole where it should go. So there's your clue. So make sure you get it kind of aligned straight as you can get it, and then it's a simple matter of getting these two holes here aligned up, and that, look, I can't even lift the battery now, it's that sticky. That sticky stuff will reheat when I heat the back and stick this battery to it. This battery will not be coming off, I'm telling you. You don't need any. I could kind of lift it up, but I've got a feeling that maybe if I heat it up a bit, if I try to lift it off, can I lift it off? No, you know what? I can't even lift it off. I'm not even going to bother trying because, like I said, as the battery heats up, it will probably reheat the glue and help it to stick to it. That's my theory anyway. But I had a devil trying to get the battery off, and I don't believe I can even get this one off now. If I try to, nope, I'd have to really force it. It's pretty stuck. It's stuck pretty fast. So there's our battery in. Happy days. And let's hope it works. So now the next step is the motherboard. That's the big one. Once that's in, it's just a matter of reattaching screws and things. So let's get our newly cleaned motherboard. So for this part, I've just sped up the process of reinstalling the motherboard, but please notice that I have cleaned the CPU in order that we can put fresh thermal paste, and that should probably be done to most CPUs at least once every 3 years. So I'm just going to put the screws back in the motherboard in the reverse order I put them in before. Well, finally I've done that. All 8 screws, bit of a nightmare. I've put the heat sinks back on. That was easy. Remember to leave these 2 heat sinks clear, because this one on the left and this one on the right here are where the screen connect to, and that's the final thing you do before gluing it back down. Now, I didn't remove all of the glue from here because I'm not sure what is antennae, what is glue, but it seems okay, and I think there's going to be I'm going to do fresh glue on the screen. So I'm just going to attach this now. So let's see if we can fit the antenna in. There it is. Everything good. Just put the 4 screws in. Probably one of the easiest parts to do, this piece. We just now need to put some of this silicone. Now this is fresh silicone because I think it lasts about a year or 2, and if you were to buy some old silicone, then maybe it wouldn't work. Remember, this is nice and clean, and eventually it will go on here, nice and clean, and our everything. Let's move everything up. Let's zoom out. Our sink pad should go like this, something like that. Now you can see here, that's the amount of yucky gluey stuff I've put on. I haven't put on too much, and even that might be too much, to be honest, but that should be sufficient. I don't think I need to put it anywhere else. There are some weird kind of heat sinks here that are plastic and they're covered on stuff, but I'm not going to remove that and reheat that. This is going to be the only one I do. Whoa, don't drop it. Make sure you're going to be round about the holes where they should be before you lay it down. So that's one of the holes for sure. That's the other hole. And then we got the other holes. So kind of like that-ish. Now I've screwed all the screws in, but the final 4 are the ones around the CPU. This is the first one you screw in, the second one is opposite, then the third one is here, and the fourth one is in the corner. And that way the silicone is spread more evenly around the CPU. And now I'm just putting in the main heat plate around the CPU. Yes, I forgot these 3 screws here. What a doofus. There they go. Now in this part I've sped up my heating the back of the glass where there was this thick layer of gunge which you can't have because the glass has to lay flat. So I'm heating it up to 350 and very slowly scraping off this thick layer of gunge to leave a very, very thin layer of gunge which I can actually reuse. I reckon that's as good as I'm going to get. For maybe if you know a better way, then please let me know. But for now, I think I'm going to let that glass cool. You can see if I bring it up, it's a little better now. It's not as lumpy. Still a bit lumpy, but believe me, before it was like there were canyons there. So you can see here, what I'm doing is actually, by the way, I'm just rubbing isopropyl alcohol on the edge because all the glue got kind of sticky to the top edge. Now the 2 cables in the back of the screen need to go into these 2 connectors before we put the screen down, and also they have small heat sinks that go on top of them. There we go. So that's one in, and you can probably see from there. They go in there. They've got one of them in there, and now I just need to get the other one in there. So let's just put that back there. So one's in. That's it. There you go. So now all I have to do is lay it down and glue it together. I'm just gluing on the top. Probably would be wiser to do this when it's flat. So I just need to reheat all of that. So I'm putting my heat gun on now. And now the piece de resistance is, I've got a load of these kind of clippy things that I'm going to use to clamp down, and you can see it's running, but it's doing some kind of weird check. Hopefully that's nothing major. Ta-da! The screen still works. Let's see if the Wi-Fi works. The Wi-Fi works. Woohoo! Got my Wi-Fi. Let's and we're connected to Wi-Fi. The pin code. Let's put my pin in. But I'm going to put these clamps on. That's the deal done. And I think there's one here. And then I'll be leaving that overnight. I'm not squishing too tight, but just tight enough. Hope you enjoyed my battery changing, life changing video, whereby even the beginner can actually take one of these screens off, put in a new battery, and then have a new life to his screen without cracking the screen. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me on the next video.